One photo that really sent chills down my spine was a candid style photo of myself playing the Pac-Man machine with Ben standing right behind me.
Oh, dude. When I was a kid, I used to hang around at the arcade quite a bit. We didn't have a local arcade where I grew up, but my parents would go shopping quite often in the larger town that I lived next to, about an hour away. So they would go to the mall, you know, my sister and my mom. My dad wouldn't usually come because he felt kind of like me. He didn't want to do with shopping, but my dad worked offshore, so sometimes he wouldn't be home, and I wouldn't have any choice but to hang around with Mom and Jessica. And I didn't want to go shopping for clothes and stuff. They maybe ride the escalators at the Sears or whatever, but I wouldn't want to just hang around in the arcade. But it was a pretty safe place. Like, my mom would leave me there a few hours at a time sometimes after, you know, they probably make a shopping trip around 4 or 5 hours at the mall, and somewhere between halfway I would meet him at the food court or something like that. It was really, really low key because, I mean, they had a bunch of adults over there. They had security. They had a bunch of kids. It was a pretty safe place to leave your kid if you were going to leave them anywhere, you know, not attended. So I don't blame my mom and them for feeling, you know, safe, that I was safe over there. And I felt safe too, and nothing ever bad happened. But that's not to say that nothing bad couldn't have happened. And today we're going to react to a true arcade horror story. So apparently something bad did happen at one of them. We're going to react to it today. Listen, make sure to head on over to Horror Shorts Party's channel. Click the subscribe button, click the notification bell, and if you like reaction videos like this, click subscribe on this video as well. Let's get into the animation.
This story is told in a female perspective.
All right.
It happened to me when I was around 15 years old. I would always love going to this arcade that was located close to my house.
Yeah.
The arcade was always open till late, so it was usually packed to full capacity. My parents didn't mind if I went by myself, as long as I made it back before my curfew was over.
All right.
Every time I was at this arcade, I would always play with the Pac-Man machine.
The Pac-Man machine. So did y'all see the Tekken and the Mortal Kombat? Oh, that was me, man. I used to love playing those fighting games. I remember trying to learn the moves. You had to do this. There's a move called a Dragon Punch, if you're not familiar with Street Fighter, okay? You have to press forward and then down and then diagonal in sequence, very, very fast, followed by a punch button in order to do this move. And it looks something like this. So I would spend my hours perfecting that thing. I don't know how many quarters I spent at the dadgum arcade figuring that move out. But I learned it, and it was good when I did. Boy, I was dragon punching everything. Anyway.
I don't know why, it's just I had a knack for Pac-Man, and it was my favorite game to play.
All right.
Later that night, I remember seeing these two guys play the game Dance Dance Revolution.
I remember that too.
I always enjoyed watching others play it, as it was quite mesmerizing to say the least. That's when a random guy approached me from out of the blue and asked if I'd be interested in playing air hockey with him. I personally didn't see any harm in it, so I said, sure.
You know, I would think that places like that would be the kind of place that you try to hook up, you know, kind of like skating rinks. You know, I guess the arcade, you can find things to do. Hey, you want to play this game together? I'll pay for your game or whatever. Yeah, you could probably hook up at an arcade, but this is probably going to go bad since the way, I mean, it's presented, right?
He introduces himself as Ben, and
hey,
I
Ben.
introduce myself as well. We end up playing a few rounds and even chatted for a bit.
Okay.
Ben was even generous enough to buy me a drink.
Uh-huh.
I eventually noticed it was getting pretty late and realized it was probably close to my curfew.
Yeah.
I checked my pockets and noticed my phone was missing. I didn't know if I forgot it at home or something, so I tell Ben that it was time for me to go. He then tells me that he needs to use the restroom and politely asks if I could keep an eye on his cell phone, which was charging on the wall along with his belongings. I said sure, and he proceeds to head to the restroom. I decided to call my cell phone using Ben's phone, just in case I accidentally dropped it somewhere in the arcade.
Is it in Ben's book
I noticed
bag?
he didn't have a pass lock on it, so it was pretty easy to use.
All right.
I dial my number and surprisingly hear a cell phone ringing inside Ben's backpack.
Called it.
It sounded exactly like my ringtone. My phone must have been in his bag. I decide to open the bag, only to find my phone inside it.
Mm-hmm.
I grab my phone and quickly place the backpack back on the table,
like nothing
just in
happened.
case Ben came back. I felt really uncomfortable knowing he'd attempted to steal my phone.
That is kind of crazy. Like, most people that steal anything from somebody else just want to leave the scene of the crime, right? I would think, you know, he must have some more sinister intentions here.
Considering the fact that he came off as this really nice guy. I noticed he was still in the restroom, so I randomly scanned through Ben's phone. He didn't have any social media apps, which led me to believe he wasn't much of a social guy.
Right?
I nosily decided to look through Ben's photos while occasionally looking up to see if he had come back from the restroom.
She digging.
What I saw in the photos made me want to throw up.
Oh no.
It was photos of myself ranging from inside and outside the arcade.
Oh wow.
The photos range from a couple months ago till now. As I was swiping more and more and more, I realized that this guy had been secretly stalking and taking photos of me. One photo that really sent chills down my spine was a candid-style photo of myself playing the Pac-Man machine with Ben standing right behind me.
Oh, dude, that's crazy. It's like he's trying to visualize himself with her or something like that. Oh, that's some deep stalking territory there.
He must have had someone take the photo of us. I quickly delete all the photos of his phone. That's when someone named Greg texted Ben's phone saying, "Yo, Ben, is she still with you? I'm outside with the van."
What?
That's when I look up and see Ben staring at me with a creepy-ass smile. It was a smile that looked so exaggerated, I couldn't tell if he was faking it or being for real.
Wow.
I told him that I was just checking the time because I'd forgotten my cell phone at home. He then says, "Want to come over to my place?"
No.
I honestly could have made a scene, but I took the high road and said, "Sure, but I need to use the restroom first." He then says, "Sure, let me walk you there." Ben walks me to the restroom, and I immediately took the opportunity to call my dad to come pick me up.
Yeah.
I can see Ben glimpsing through the door every time someone exited the restroom like a creep.
What a freak.
That's when I decided to tell two older girls I saw about my situation. They kindly escort me outside, only to find Ben no longer there. I then get a call from my dad telling me to come outside and that he has arrived. I quickly rush into his car and act like nothing ever happened. To this day, I'm still traumatized from the encounter I had with Ben that night. I lay on my bed from time to time, pondering what sick plan he was orchestrating that night.
Good lord, dude.
All I know is that I don't plan on going back to that arcade anytime soon.
Wow, dude. What a creep, man. Oh. Oh my god. Wow. Crisis averted. In a situation that seemed very, very normal. Can you imagine realizing that somebody had been watching you for a few months, had pictures on their phone, and was trying to get you abducted? The van comment sent chills up my spine. He had a partner. Sometimes when you're trying to record, you get like 37 notifications on your phone and you think there's a freaking disaster going on. Anyway, be careful out there, guys. You never know when somebody just has bad intentions and you might become a victim. Stay sharp out there. I love you guys. Thank you so much. Listen, make sure to go over to Horror Shorts Party's channel and subscribe there, and subscribe to this channel if you like these reaction videos. Thanks so much for watching, guys. As always, this is Zueljin signing off, and we'll see you next time.